สวัสดีค่ะ Welcome to Hot Thai Kitchen. Today I am so excited. We are going to be taking a really close look at one of my favorite ingredient, and that is the coconut. So coconut milk, coconut products is so integral to Thai cuisine. But how does a coconut like this end up on your shelf in a can? And that's what we're going to find out today, and we're going to find out so much more. I am in the province of Samut Songkhram, which is just super close to Bangkok, just a couple of hours out, and that is where they grow a ton of coconut, as you can see all around me. Let's get started. This plantation is so lush, serene, and just beautiful. And this is also actually a family home. These lovely people showing me around are all part of the family who owns this coconut plantation. This is Lung Cheng, the head of the family who's been working with coconuts his entire life, starting with collecting coconut nectar for palm sugar when he was a teen. Today, in his old age, he just sits back and oversees the operation. An exciting thing is about to happen. So this gentleman right here is going to help me get one of the coconuts down from the super tall trees. Now you might have seen some farms use monkeys to go up, but here they say they don't use monkey labor. They just use a simple stick, an extremely long stick right behind me right here. And I am clearly not qualified to handle something like this. There's a sharp blade at the top. เชิญค่ะ Oh my God, holy jeez. I can't even see the top. You do not want to be under that tree when this is happening. Did this one fall from the tree? I think so. So, as you may have noticed, he only picked the brown ones to pull down because these brown ones are mature, they're ready to go. The green ones, not quite yet, so they don't want to pull it down for me. But there you go, easy peasy. And to find out how they actually grow coconuts around here, turns out I gotta get on a boat, which I did not expect to be doing, and we are about to find out why. What is happening? Okay, now that I've made through that part. So as you can see, this is still a very much traditional farm. They do things in a very low-tech way, a lot of still manual labor. They don't use fancy things to pick the coconuts. They don't have fancy things to get them around these rivers. And so it's still very much old school here. Now, the reason why we are on a river right now is very functional actually. So coconuts are grown in between these rivers because a couple of reasons. One, the coconuts can naturally just absorb the water. They don't need to ever water the coconuts as long as they keep these rivers filled. Two, the river prevents the coconut from becoming damaged when they pick them because the coconuts fall into the water and they float, no damage there. And then some people also keep fish in these rivers, so it's an added, source of food or maybe a source of business. These guys don't keep fish here, that's why there's so much water plants growing all over the place right now. But yeah, these rivers, it's in Thai we have a word called Phum Panya Chao Ban, which means it's just something that a wisdom that people have figured out through trial and error over the years. We're now heading to a place that they call Long, which is their term for a place that initially process the coconuts they've just picked, and we are going there by boat because it's an actual mode of transportation around here. Oi. See that fallen coconut tree behind me? I got ka. Oh my God. I got water on my face somehow through that whole thing. It's so incredible here. I can hear all sorts of birds singing around me. Just sounds you never hear in the city, and it smells good here. It's just like the smell of nature. It doesn't smell like anything in particular, but it just smells fresh. The air feels light. So relaxing. You just gotta watch for things that could take you out every once in a while, otherwise it's all good. And we're here. Oh, no, we are not here. Oh my God, I can't believe this is happening. This is completely terrifying. Hello. And we are here, so behind me is what they call a long, and that's basically a processing center, you could say. Now we're gonna go take a look inside in a little bit, but before that, a little bit of a coconut 101 is in order. So in my left hand here, this is a young coconut, the type that you would drink the water from. So you got young coconut water on your store shelf. It's coming from this guy. It's also a different variety. We call it mะพร้าวน้ำหอม, which literally means fragrant water coconut because it's a lot more flavorful. This guy, on the other hand, is a mature coconut, but it's also a different variety. The meat gets a lot fattier, so they use this for making coconut milk, which requires, you know, richness and all that stuff. And this coconut tree is actually a lot taller than this guy, which is a lot shorter. Now, just because this is the type that we prefer to drink does not mean that you can't drink the coconut milk from this. You can totally drink any coconut water from any coconut, just doesn't taste as good. And in fact, I'm gonna taste a side-by-side comparison for you right now. So to my right here is that young coconut. They've just opened it for me, and here's the water. Now to my left here, this is a mature coconut, the old one that's ripe, ready to be made into coconut milk, and this is the water. And you can already see it's quite different, it's murkier, and I can see droplets of coconut oil floating on top, and that's because there's so much fat in this guy right here. And now this might look a little bizarre, but this is just the meat only of the coconut. So just to give you some context, here's an old mature coconut, right? They open it and the inside looks like this, and the hard shell has been taken off, and just on the outside of the white flesh there's a thin layer of brown, and that's what you see on this guy here. Now here's a cool thing. This is the other half of this mature coconut, and this thing right here looks like a big white mushroom in the middle. This is a new coconut shoot that's about to form. So, you know, this means that it's been left out for a while, and if you leave it long enough, it'll grow a new plant. I am excited because I've never actually had water from a mature coconut, a coconut this mature. So let's taste it against something I'm familiar with. Smells so good. Sweet, really fragrant. There's no coconut better than Thai coconut, I am telling you. But it also has a little bit of an acidity, like it's a little bit tangy in a good way. That's why it's so refreshing. Now to compare, it already doesn't smell as good. It doesn't have, I can't smell anything. And it's quite bland. It's beginning to pick up that flavor of coconut milk, but in terms of flavor, it's very mild, not a whole lot going on. I mean, it's not bad, but it's clearly the reason why we don't drink this and we drink this one. All right, now that we've got the basics, let's look at how coconut milk gets made, starting from the beginning. Once the coconuts arrive from the farm, first thing is they tear off that dry, fibrous husk using a rather simple tool that is, quite frankly, terrifying looking. Then we move inside where these ladies remove the hard shell of the coconut with a machete. Watch this. Such incredible precision, definitely not something I want to try. The coconut water inside does not get wasted, they do save it for another use. The meat then goes to the next room where the brown skin is simply peeled off. Break it down into more manageable pieces, and just like that, the coconut meat is ready to head to the factory. So the coconut meat that you saw being processed in there, they're gonna get turned into coconut milk the high-tech way. But I'm gonna show you how it's done the low-tech way. This is still what many homes use. This is what I used to do when growing up. And it's by using this cool little contraption here that we actually call the rabbit, or we call this gratai. I don't know why it's called a rabbit. It doesn't look like a rabbit, but I suppose it's close enough. Now, if you notice, there's really sharp serrated blade right here. You don't wanna touch that. That's what's going to grate the coconut. So first you got to get it open in half, and it's really quite simple. You just grate it like that. Seems easy, right? And just a few little bit, you'll get these nice coconut milk that's juicy, like it's just full of coconut milk. And that's it, it's as simple as that. I say it's simple, but it's pretty exhausting because as you can probably tell, this takes a while. And with enough time and patience, you end up with beautiful coconut flesh. And all you do from this point is you just give them a squeeze through cheesecloth and coconut milk will just drip right out. So this is how you do coconut milk old school. But now let me show you how the coconut milk you buy actually gets made. And I am here, so I'm standing on the campus of Thai Coconut. And Thai Coconut is a company that manufactures all sorts of coconut products. Coconut milk, coconut beverages like young coconut water, coconut snacks, I mean all sorts of things. They have their own brand, but they also make for other brands that you might have even used. They've been so kind as to let us in here so we can find out how your coconut milk gets made. So let's take a look. First order of business, we get properly dressed and we wash our hands. Once the coconut meat arrives from the processing center, these ladies with sharp eyes sort them out and remove any pieces that are too young for milking. Then they get washed with soft, unchlorinated water so they're sparkly clean. And then it's all big machinery from here. The coconut gets blanched in hot water, which makes them softer and easier to shred. Then they get shredded into bits. They add some water and then simply squeeze the milk out of it, and then fresh coconut milk is strained out. I know you can't see much through all these machines, but that's a good thing, trust me, because you know that outside contaminants are not gonna get in. Gotta say, it was so hot in the milking room, I was pretty excited to move on to the next part. So now the coconut milk can take a few different paths. If it's going into canning, depending on the brand it's destined to become, it might need to have some extra ingredients added according to the recipe. Then it gets homogenized by pressure to prevent fat separation. It then goes into the cans get sealed, and then they go into these tunnels where they get heat treated to make them shelf stable. Now for UHT processing, the coconut milk gets heated by traveling through these intricate heating tubes at the super fast rate of 6,000 liters an hour. So this is the control room where they control the temperature and the timing of UHT processing. So UHT, that just means the paper carton of coconut milk that you see I use. Now the thing about UHT is it needs to be heated at an ultra high temperature for a short time, and this is where they control that time and temperature, and that is why it has a fresher flavor than canned coconut milk, because it's a higher amount of heat but a shorter amount of time. So I am now in their quality control lab. Now in this lab, one of the things that they do is they check for the amount of solids, and the amount of solids is indicative of the amount of fat present in the coconut. Basically, like, is it too diluted? So she's just dropped some coconut milk into this machine here, and then it spits out a reading. We're at the end of the journey here. These cans have just gone through the heating process, and they're sitting down cooling old school with the big fans, and they're also waiting the result of quality control to make sure that the whole heating process and everything, the sealing and everything worked as planned. Wow, what a day. It was long, it was exhausting, but it was so much fun. I knew I was coming to see how coconut milk gets made. I had no idea it was going to be such an adventure. So I hope you enjoyed that as well. If you have any questions, comments, or if you want to tell me what kind of ingredients you want to see me explore next, let me know in the comments. And you can get in touch with me on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram, or on my website, uhthaikitchen.com. And I will see you next time. สวัสดีค่ะ